That wasn't me.
Yeah, it was. That sounds perfect.
America.
Oh boy, I'm fired up tonight. Let's do this.
One of the
That's
episodes when we had that
kangaroo.
music going for like 2 minutes while we were talking, that episode
Did we get a copyright?
got a copyright notice on that one.
Of course,
I'm like,
we did. Dusty Rhodes.
I'm like, I'm not going to worry about that
He's
one.
dead. He's dead, but he still needs money.
I'm not going to take that one out. Well, it wasn't for him. It was for the copyright owner of the music.
Probably WWE.
No, it was some. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the music label was owned by WWE, but it's always some. It's always some.
Jim Johnston Music or something.
Yeah.
Like that. He's the guy who does it. All right, look. I'm locked and ready. I've got 3 or 4 weeks of podcasting pin up. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Who's doing the opener? You want me to do it
Go
for you?
watch it die.
Not that
I'm
one.
not ready for that. Yeah, Tim, bring us in, man, and I'll take it from there.
All right.
You ought to be good at this by now.
I hope so. It always feels new every time I do it.
Same thing. Same people watching. Same people listening. That we very much appreciate. I don't know. I might be hyper because I've got a 5-pound bag of Albanese gummy bears.
That'll do it.
I mean, look at this. Look at this bag of gummy bears.
Oi.
It's as big as my head.
All the carbs. Twice.
Have you ever had these gummy bears?
No.
They sell them at Walmart in smaller packs. I got this one off Amazon. These are the best.
I think the last time I had a gummy on purpose was maybe 20 years ago. I do not like gummy
These
anything.
are honestly the best gummy bears in the entire world.
Yeah,
They have
Brooklyn
the best-
Traveler in the chat says the same thing.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And I dropped one on the floor, and I'm sad because I wanted to eat it. It was
5-second
red.
rule.
Well, no, it's got fuzz on it. I'm not
Yeah,
eating
that's
that.
not good.
Okay, but look, I got a red one right here. Red and green. Green sucks.
Merry Christmas.
Green Mario. Green Mario got eaten.
Green Mario.
All right.
Okay. I think I got what I need. Are we good to go, Jesse?
Ready when you are.
Okay. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 289, recorded on July 23rd, 2020. On tonight's episode, we're back. Marty's back. We had a mini direct, and we discussed third-party games appearing elsewhere that affects how Nintendo somehow. So we'll talk about that. Jesse, cue the music.
You don't know how good that music sounds after being away for almost a month, guys. It is episode 289 of Nintendo Dads. I'm Marty Estes, and joining me on the show tonight, Mr. Tim Off. You've already heard him. Jesse Waldack, he's here with us as well. Jesse, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah. So we were off last week, so Justin did a little mini episode on a road trip. So we called that 288 and a half. And then yesterday he dropped off another one for me to edit and post. So I'm like, well, we still want to do 289 tomorrow, so I'll call this 288 and 3/4. So if you haven't heard that yet, it's on the feed.
Yeah, if you want to hear it, what you got to do is take your trolley and aim it toward platform 9 3/4 and just run, and you'll run right into the audio. All right, Jesse, you guys got some storms this week, right? Because we did.
We had a little bit, not a lot.
We got some storms, knocked out our power this morning. That's always fun.
We had more rain than storm, enough that we got some leakage in our basement, but not a lot of lightning. We didn't get a lot of lightning.
Leakage is what happens when you start to get older. Just letting you know.
I'm not ready for that yet.
Tim knows. Tim knows. Tim's 45. He knows all about it. Tim, how you doing?
I'm older than he is, and I still don't want to know.
Hold on, I'll be back. I gotta change my pants.
Adam and John,
man.
this is what you get to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine. How about you, Marty? You doing good?
Man, I'm doing good. It's good to be back. And we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But hopefully things going well for you. I know, Tim, lately, I know for a month or so there, you were like furloughed off work, but you've gone back to work. And
Yeah,
right?
I was actually off for 3 months.
3 months.
And you'd
Wow.
think that you would be able to play all the games in the world, but nope. Nope.
Oh, no.
Yes,
let
and I'm
me
sure
tell
we're
you
going to hear
what
about your experience.
Yeah, let me tell you what I learned over the last 2.5 weeks. But guys, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, including hopefully not too much about our personal lives. That's probably not what you want to hear. But we've got a little bit of news that we want to talk about this week, as well as what games we've been playing and all that good stuff. So, Jesse, why don't we dive right into the news? Hit that music. And, our news each and every week is brought to us by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where for just $1 a month, you can join in and be a part of one of the best dang communities in all the internet. It may be the best community. Well, I mean, let's just be honest. It might be the best community on the internet. At least that's what people say. I mean, we try, but it's not just us like pumping ourselves up. No, it's actually people. And we want to say thank you to each and every one of you who is over there. Tim, why don't you do something for me here real quick, because I'm trying to pull up our new patrons so that we can publicly recognize them. That's what we do on the show.
Because we like to be prepared.
Right. It does pay to be prepared. But Jesse, I've been gone for a month. I got to ease back into this. Okay.
We're never prepared, so it's okay. It's normal.
While you're preparing,
so why don't you just
Discord.
talk about what's going on over there and
in Discord. I can
see
we got 2 new entries there from a couple people who jumped in. Which was Bob Dog, which I love these Discord names. Bob Dog and this man. So I know they all have real names, but that's fun just saying the Discord names. But those guys joined us recently.
Yeah, and one of those is a good friend of ours who is coming back to patronage after a little bit of being away. And so whether you're a brand new patron or you've been here from the start, or you're coming back, or maybe you're on the edge thinking about it, guys, trust me, the Discord chat is amazing. You guys have helped us do so many things, like Monthly Mayhem, spinning off into new shows like Dad's After Dark, Dad Crossing, The Dinner Table. All of that is because of you. And so we're super thankful for that. And we're super thankful
doing reviews too.
Yeah. Tons of stuff, tons of literally, if you go over there to Discord and you become a patron of the show and you would like to help with reviews, you can do that. All right.
That
you can do that.
Our Twitch subscribers too. They get access to that
Twitch. And here's the thing. If you're watching us on Twitch and you have, like an Amazon Prime free subscription to Twitch, each month, we would be honored if you would take that and you would put it toward Nintendo Dads. That helps people know about us. That helps us get the name out there. We're working toward getting that, the last requirement for Twitch partner. And so the more you can help us out on Twitch, the better. But I'm done talking about that. Just head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Join up.
Join us.
And it'll be awesome.
Before we started the news, something in the chat I wanted to call out.
Okay.
We've been doing this for almost 6 years, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this term. Miz in the chat says, "Hello, Famicom fathers."
Famicom fathers.
I like that.
Famicom fathers. I love it, baby. That's going to be the next spinoff show.
That needs to be a shirt.
That's going to be the title.
Someone do that.
That's a show title right there. Famicom fathers. I love it. That's comedy gold. Guys, I want to say something real quick before we jump into the news. I want to thank everybody for the last couple of weeks. Tons of people, tons of fans of the show reached out to me personally and checked up on me and my family. For those of you who may be listening and don't know, on July 8th, my wife and I took a test for COVID-19. We had been showing some symptoms over the weekend after being in contact with somebody else who also ended up testing positive. That was actually what sent us to get the test on July 8th, was a call from someone saying, "Hey, I've tested positive. You've been around me. You probably need to go get a test." And from there until now, we have been in quarantine. So starting July 8th until today, we literally have not really been anywhere. We've not gone outside. I've done grocery pickup. I've done like the most I've been in contact with somebody is in a fast food line. And here's the thing. The first thing that happens whenever you tell somebody you've had COVID-19, which by the way, we did, we came back positive. In fact, I came back positive. My wife came back positive. My kids came back positive. My father and mother-in-law came back positive. My two sister-in-laws came back positive. All their kids came back positive. 15 people in all infected.
Already had a family reunion.
Well, here's the deal. We live with my in-laws, and one of my sister-in-laws lives right next to us. And so we've been hanging out this entire time because she works in a bubble, basically she's a police dispatcher. So they put her in isolation when she goes to work. Her husband has been isolating, and he works a job where he works he makes books. And so he mans his machine by himself and doesn't even go to the break room. Like, he's been taking all kinds of precautions. So we're the ones who brought the plague home to everybody. And it was like 4th of July weekend. We were all together. It was like that. Sister-in-law from Texas was up. Of course, we didn't test our kids because they were like 5 and 7 and 1, but they had symptoms. They had fever. But here's the thing. Like, the first thing anybody ever asks is like, well, what symptoms do you have? You're running fever, right? You got chills. You're coughing. No. July 2nd, I lost my taste and smell. I got a little bit of congestion. That was it. That was the only symptom that I had. Now, I've had an occasional like dizzy spell, just sitting down and like look up and be like, whoa, and a little bit of stomach discomfort. But other than that, it was fine. My wife had a little bit of a worse go with it. There were a couple days that she was struggling to breathe and couldn't catch her breath and was coughing a little bit. So far, out of all 15 of us who had it, only 13 of us, or all 13 of us, are mild. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law that live right next to us, they have had some hard days with it, feeling run down and just tapped out. He was in the hospital for a couple days, but and they put him on the COVID floor. But come to find out, it was more his blood sugar than anything. But it's all connected. But here we are. We tested on the 8th. We didn't get our results until last Thursday. The quarantine was already up. But because my kids tested on Monday, we decided to do the quarantine with them and just all stay in and be sure we were taken care of. And so here we are. That's why I've not been on the show. Try and not been as active on social media and different things, trying to get back into that, but also Paper Mario. Played a lot of that and finished it today. So thank you, Quarantine, for basically ruining the only first party game that Nintendo has for the rest of the year, because that's all I played.
Marty, make sure it's clear though, you didn't come on the show because you were trying to make sure we didn't get infected, because that's not how it works. But
right.
The reason why is because
that's a different type of virus.
No, so yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you said that. So this room that I'm in, I think most people know this. This is my office at work. So because I was quarantined, if you're watching right now, like I podcast from my office because our internet at home is terrible. And so because I was under quarantine, I decided to be really strict about that and follow the rules and regulations and just stay home, because I didn't want to even get it anywhere, right? I didn't want a chance running into somebody or whatever. So it was really great. Like the first 5 days, like I was like, man, I could stay up as late as I want and sleep and, do all this. By like day 7 or 8, I was like, okay, I gotta get out of this house. This is time. I need to, I found myself like, what can I put on my grocery order? What do we need? Not really what did we need, like what can I buy to get me out of this house just to take a drive to Walmart or to Kroger. But yeah, so I'm going to sum all that up to say thank you guys for checking on me. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I had a very mild case, but let me just be real clear that the disease sucks. The virus is terrible, and we took every precaution. Right? Like when we wore masks going out, we did all that. We're still doing that. I'm not going to be like one of those guys who'll be like, well, I had it now. I'm just going to go do whatever I want. Because I don't know. I mean, with it being so mild, I don't.
I think it's too soon to tell whether what the antibodies, how long they last.
We're dads, and we're family friendly around here. So as the one among us who's had this and seen it go through his family, let me do Nintendo Dad's PSA here. It would be great if we had some like piano music, some Full House style piano music behind here or whatever. Wear a gosh darn mask. All right, wear the mask. Woo! Stop doing it, or I'm gonna come over to your house, baby, and hit you with a plunder upside the head. It's easier to wear a mask than it is to get hit by the bionic elbow from American Dream. All right. Anyway, wear a mask.
Wow.
So
wash your hands, wear a mask.
Wash your hands, wear a mask. Don't cough on people. I've heard people doing that in the news. Like they try to avoid, people, and people try to cough on them on purpose. What kind of person does that? A word we can't say on Nintendo Dads.
Rude. You can say that one.
That wasn't the word that I was saying. That's rude. How rude. Enough about me. Let's talk about news and headlines. This is what people want to hear. Before we get into it, we just want to give you a PSA, another PSA here. Public service announcements are rampant tonight here at Nintendo Dads. If you have not already, you need to update your Switch to 10.1.0. I believe that was last week when that came out. And apparently there is a pretty critical update for Joy-Cons with us because the internet went kind of rampant after the update that Joy-Cons and other controllers, I think specifically it was just Joy-Cons, were not working like they were supposed to. And my son even experienced this today as he was filming a YouTube video. Right before he was like, my Joy-Con's not working. I was like, well, have you updated your controllers? He's like, I didn't know you could do that, because I always do it for him. Yeah. I always make sure I update them all, we connect all the controllers and have a big update party.
And the fact that I don't think early on they could do it, but now even the Joy-Con can be remotely updated.
Yes.
So if you have 8 Joy-Con connected and say update it, it'll scan every one of them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just lay them out on the table, make sure all the lights are lit up, and hit update controllers. And
I had done that with my NES controllers, the Pro controllers, and four Joy-Con, and the update only happened on the Joy-Con, not the others.
If you do that on only left Joy-Cons, it takes about 30 seconds. If you do it on right Joy-Cons, about 10 minutes later. Go make a cup of coffee and come back. I don't know what about the right. I guess because all the sensors in the right Joy-Con and the IR and all that, it takes a little bit longer. But man, they like to hang on. And they also, I noticed with this update, they like to disconnect at 99% and then make you do it over again.
I didn't have that problem.
That's real fun.
I don't have that problem.
I had that problem with 2 of my right Joy-Cons.
That's weird.
So, kind of fun. All right, so big news this week, guys. Nintendo Direct Mini launched on Monday.
The rumored
8 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah, this is the rumored Monday podcast, or Monday Direct that actually happened.
Yep, it was 8 minutes and 41 seconds of disappointment, otherwise known as my wedding night. And so, this is probably,
Rodney.
yeah. Anyway, let's talk about let's talk about all the things that were announced here, and let's talk about also the fact that if you really want to see more games that were announced by Nintendo, you can go and look at the Japanese version of this, which was chock full of games. I don't understand why we didn't get all of these games. I guess some of them aren't getting localized or whatever, but some of them are. Some of them are already being announced. And
I thought there was only 2 games they mentioned. Was there more that we didn't get?
I think it was 2 games that they mentioned that weren't in our presentation.
Yeah, I don't know what those games were.
That's what I call chock full, Jesse.
Okay.
You
confused me.
So
with your high-tech terms.
It's like what was Justin saying? Schwackload. It's like a schwackload of games that were announced.
That's been a while since that term's been thrown around.
Yeah. So they open up the video with news about Cadence of Hyrule DLC. By the way, this is not the game that I saw getting DLC. Just to be honest. But the DLC pack, there's 3 DLC packs: a character pack, a melody pack, and Symphony of the Mask. Characters add in about 5 new characters. Pack 2 adds in 39 new songs, and Pack 3 adds in Skull Kid and an entirely new adventure. And these are available now, August and September, and you can get them for $15. Now, the cool thing about that is if you buy the bundle, you get one of those packs for free.
Yeah, 'cause individually, they're $6, $6, and $10.
Yes, so you would be paying $22 when instead you can pay $15. There's also a digital bundle that's coming out with the game and the season pass, and that will be $39.98. And a physical version, which includes everything, is available on October 23rd. Is that digital bundle already out? Okay, so it's already out.
You can buy that on eShop today, and then you'll get the game. You'll get pack 1 right now, along with the season pass bonus, and then packs 2 and 3 as they are released.
Yeah. Did you guys play this game?
I did, and I only got like an hour into it before I was unhappy with it.
Yeah.
I know other people loved it and great, but
I thought
there was other
I thought
things
the music was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the art direction was brilliant. I beat 2 bosses and never went back.
You got 2 bosses more than me.
Tim, did you play it?
Yeah, I just did it a little bit at the very beginning, that little bit of the tutorial. But something else grabbed my attention away from it, and I never went back.
Like, I remember when it was announced, I went, "Oh, that looks awesome!"
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then I was so excited to download it and play it, and it just didn't grab me. Like,
that was last year's E3 Shadow Drop, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. And somebody, if that's not right, you can correct us. I just like this is not a game that I thought would get DLC. Like, I knew there was some hype for it and a lot of praise for it, but I didn't think it sold all that well. And it makes me wonder why. Like, why DLC for this?
The original game of being $25, that was, a lot of people picked it up for the music alone. It's probably worth the $25.
Sure.
Why is probably because of COVID, maybe. I mean, I'm guessing they probably would have done it anyways, but if they can't do big games full on, and they looking for other ways to make money.
Honestly, the DLC does make me want to dip back into it, because some of the problems that I had with the game was like, here's my problem with the game. Like, I feel like you have to constantly be in motion, right? Like, and that gets tedious. To stay with the beat, you have to constantly be moving, and sometimes Zelda doesn't really lend itself to that.
There was a mode where they only move when you move. So if you need to take a minute and think about things, you can take all the time you want.
Yeah, I probably need to try it in that mode and give it a fair shake. But I didn't really appreciate it. It seemed like it was kind of a steep difficulty level in some ways, and a little unfair, and like going through somewhere and then the enemies coming right back. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I have to fight these things again, or I have to do this thing again. I have to unveil the secret staircase for the 50th time. I don't know. It didn't click with me. If you like it, great. I don't know. I've got it. I don't even know. $15 for a game that I don't know about. I may not buy it. Also shown off was Rogue Company, which is yet another squad-based shooter coming to Nintendo Switch. It's already out.
Adjusting game.
Yeah, it's a adjusting game. Well, here's the deal. I feel like
sure,
this is
a me game.
I feel like this is a push to get out before Apex.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he was saying.
It very much felt. And another thing that I felt like, it was like, they started showing the new character. His name is Glitch. And I was like, this is just Payday 2. Because when they shut off Payday 2 for the Switch, like the big reveal was that there was a new character who had like the animated digital mask.
Didn't Watch Dogs 2 also do that?
Well, Watch Dogs
Yeah.
3. I was mentioning this when I was doing the live reaction to this, and I was like, wow, this looks a lot like Watch Dogs 3 or Watch Dog Legions or Legends or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And that's what it reminded me a lot of at the very beginning.
I just like my son and I were talking about this. He's like, "Oh, I can download it, Rogue Company," and I was like, "But you've already bought the season pass for Fortnite, and you've already been talking about how excited you are for Apex Legends to come to the Switch. Why do you need another shooter?"
Because he has the time, maybe? I don't know.
No, he doesn't have the time. We can't
Doesn't
play
have
this
time?
game at home, so we have to come here to my office
Gotcha.
to do any of it. It's like for 2 weeks, guys. For 2 weeks of quarantine, do you know what? All I've heard, guess I'm not going to complete the battle pass this time. Guess I'm stupid COVID. And I'm like,
COVID.
and finally one day I looked at him and was like, buddy, the world does not revolve around you and your battle pass. I am tired of being blamed. Because he literally said, if you hadn't gotten sick, well,
it's your fault. All your
God forbid. Let me put on my invisible microbial virus shield so you can go play Fortnite.
Well, I mentioned this
Anyway.
to Justin. Is like these games are very interesting, and I want to play them, but I can't play them enough to be worth it for me, because it would be like when I started getting into Call of Duty.
Mhm.
I didn't play them enough to get good enough to be able to stay in the game long enough to make them of value for me.
You got to turn it into a second job if you want to be competitive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, and there's so many free to play shooters like this that, I mean, we're going to have Apex, we're going to have Fortnite, we're going to have this. Like, you can't play all of them, right? It's kind of like Realm Royale. It went nowhere because,
Pick one
Fortnite's
and
king.
be good at it.
Yeah, and people did. They picked
Right.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
And it was around that time too that Fortnite was cooling off, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, I'll just go to the other system and play Apex." So, I don't know. So that's out. You like right now. There's 3 bundles in the eShop for this that you can get right now and have access to the game. It will become available to download free to play later on in the fall, is what the eShop page says. So you can wait till then and see if you like it, but I don't know that I would dive in right now. I know we got some codes, and I'm
cool.
not saying that it's a bad game. It's just I'm saying that maybe it's bad timing. I don't know. This announcement in the middle of they wasted 2 minutes. I was timing every game announcement as I watched this. They wasted 2 minutes on Cadence of Hyrule. They wasted 2.5 minutes on Rogue Company. And then,
speaking of time wasting,
oh, Jesse. No. This is the only game in the whole thing that was any good. WWE 2K Battlegrounds is coming out September 18th, 2020. We won't waste a lot of time here. It's an arcade-style beat-em-up wrestling game with superstars from all generations. So, you can have, Stone Cold versus Andre the Giant. Or, no, you know what I noticed, though, is interesting is they have, Andre the Giant and The Rock and some of those old guys. No Hulk Hogan whatsoever, which in my opinion is a good thing. But
Or is he a hidden character, maybe? I don't know.
he might be a hidden character, but
if that is the case,
also-
it'd be more interesting to find out if it was because WWE didn't want him, or if Hogan didn't want to license his likeness.
no, Hogan wants as much money as he can get. Here's the thing. They're distancing themselves from Hulk Hogan because he has made racist comments and different things like that, which nobody ever needs to make. But
Yeah, they would
anyway,
not promote
so that's
that.
out September 18th, and I will be getting this game. I will be streaming this game.
So you're gonna still get it even though it's 2K making it.
yeah.
And they're
But it's Saber Interactive making it, and they're the ones who made what's the basketball game? Not NBA Jam, Playgrounds.
okay.
NBA Playgrounds. I hated that game. I'm still going to give this a try. And here's
All
why.
right.
Here's why.
Well,
There is
at least the ones that were glitchy and bad were more simulation
Yes.
than
Yes.
arcade.
Here's the thing. I have WWE 2K20, which is the last one of those they made.
Okay.
It's okay. Like I've played a lot of it and with my son. I like it's okay. My thing is there is no 2K21 this year. It's not coming. So this is my wrestling game for the year. And the reason it's not coming, they're going to blame it on coronavirus, but really it's because 2K20 sucked really bad and it had tons of glitches and tons of problems, and they need to start from the ground up.
So you're gonna get this one? Are you looking at that Retromania one?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I have no interest in that whatsoever. Unless a company makes a wrestling game like WWE No Mercy or WCW versus NWO Revenge for the N64.
Yeah.
I will not. I don't want any other game.
Miz brings up a deep cut. I completely forgot about him until now.
Okay.
An unlockable Doink the Clown.
Oh gosh, I would love Doink the Clown. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm going to take an aside here because he's gone here and he made me do it. When Doink the Clown first appeared in WWE, he was an evil clown,
Yeah, I remember
and he
that.
would come out to like this creepy carnival music, and he would be like laughing and doing all kinds of stuff. And he would like take kids' signs and rip them in half and throw them into the crowd. Greatest thing ever. And then they made him a good guy. And after that, he started jumping off the top rope and landing a leg drop on people. And when they did it, they would play a whoopee cushion sound over the loudspeakers. Like, stupid.
Yeah.
Always go for the evil clown.
Well, if you get this game, I'm gonna have to get it, and then we'll have to do some online.
Yes.
Because they have
the only thing that would make this game better, and I don't think it's in there, is if it had like a create a character function. But because those are always the best. And what we could do is we could create the Nintendo Dads in the game and have like the Nintendo Dads Royal Rumble. Yeah, it would be fantastic.
2021 Battleground.
I may do it in 2K20 anyway. I may create all of us, and we'll just because I don't know if you've seen this like on Twitter. Gary's like he's turned into a monster.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's bulking up. He shaved his head. He could probably kick all our butts.
Somebody even called it out there. He looked like a
like a wrestling villain.
Yeah.
So from there, the last
British
two game
villain.
announcements were Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster and Shin Megami Tensei 5, which are both coming in 2021. Nocturne HD Remaster coming in the spring of 2021. Which probably means that 5 will be in the fall. At least I would think. Huh?
I'll believe it when I see it.
So
because they've been calling for 5 since they launched the system.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Because 5 was SMT 5 was announced during that January 2017 Switch event, and this is the last game that hasn't yet released.
Here's the thing. I think the folks at Atlas got confused. There's a different 5 that we want on Nintendo Switch.
Yes, there is.
Like as soon as that thing popped up, I was like, "Crap, we're getting Persona."
They should have seen it coming.
And then they crashed the Hindenburg.
Oh,
this was
me.
absolutely, and I know that there's going to be some people who crucify me for this, and I don't care. This was absolutely the worst announcement ever. It was painful to watch as someone who has no history with that series and nothing. Like this was like the Xenoblade 2 moment of let me talk about let me the grandfather island talk about Xenoblade 2 for 20 minutes in the middle of this program and clog up what is otherwise wonderful.
Again, that was an E3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was, and it let all the air out of the room. It was like a fart in an elevator. And in fact, I'm just gonna say this: I feel like I typically give Nintendo a pass on a lot of things because I always say like, oh, it's fun, or oh, you should try it, or oh, this. This was a giant fart in an elevator. The whole presentation, it was terrible. I get that it was about previously announced games, but you can't show more than 5 games.
All I can think of is that they got these out of the way because something bigger is coming. That's all I could think of. They didn't want to bury these.
The thing is even like,
coming.
and look, I'll sit here and defend the WWE game. Like, I'm going to play it, I'm going to buy it. But I didn't need to see the same trailer in the middle of the Nintendo program that 2K has already shown off. Don't waste my time. You know, put something else in there. And there's tons of other stuff that could be done. And between this and the absolutely bizarre world Paper Mario Treehouse thing that they showed with Bakugan, like, this made me think, oh my God, y'all, we're back in the Wii U era. It's bad. And maybe we are. Maybe that's where we are because of COVID.
That was the Bakugan thing. I think is just a marketing mistake. They shouldn't have. That should have just been a soft announcement in another announcement video, not its own standalone thing.
I wasn't on the show, so I can talk about this, but I love the part in the whole thing where he's like, "Did you say 80 Bakugan? Now it's 81." Like, yay!
I completely missed that because I was like in shock still because Justin and I live reacted to that announcement, and we're like,
I was with you guys.
Oh yeah, and we were dumb. I was dumbfounded.
The Shin Megami Tensei thing, like, again, there's people that's for, and I'm happy. But like, it's been a long time since I've watched an entire presentation and gone, barely any of this is for me.
So you should watch Xbox's presentation. Uh-oh, we just got locked up?
There's nothing else?
Oh, okay. All right. Looks like we locked up for a minute. Looks like we're back.
Yeah, well, it says my internet connection's unstable, which
it says that to me too. So
surprise. What I was saying was, like, it's the first presentation where I have just looked at it and been like, there's almost nothing for me. And I tend to like a wide swath of games, I feel like. But none of this just really did anything.
Yeah,
and I know that they were like, oh, there's more coming. But like, at this, they always put themselves in this point where the hype machine gets so out of control that everything they do is disappointing. Right. And I don't understand why they do it. I just don't get it.
I try to put myself in a mental state where I've stopped predicting things because it's never fun. I'm never right, and it just puts an unsustainable level of hype that I will be disappointed. So I've just started going into all these blank-minded. I'll see what they're going to have to do, and then I'll decide on if I liked it or not later.
And as an aside to this, let me say this. So
not many people can do that.
You've got Nintendo. No, they can't. I mean, the Nintendo fan base has proven that they cannot roll into any kind of direct without mega hype at this point. And and here's the thing: I don't want to paint that in a bad way. It sounds like I am, but I think part of it comes from a very good intention place. Nintendo fans spent 2012 through 2017 on the very bottom of the barrel. And we so want people to love Nintendo again, right? And it's like, at least that's the way I feel about it. Like, we so want people to love Nintendo again, and people are doing that with the Switch, and people are going gangbusters with the Switch, and then they throw something like this out, and yeah. I believe the phrase that my mother and father used to use when I was a kid was, that went over like a lead balloon. Mm-hmm. And it really did. It just fell flat. On the other hand, and we're not going to talk about this, but I just want to acknowledge it's out there. On the 20th, Nintendo comes through and basically craps all over the place. It's like the puppy who can't control themselves. Even though you've told it to time and time and time again, you're like, I love you, but I'm so disappointed that you crapped all over the living room floor. And then Xbox comes in and blows it out of the water today, right? Like, their presentation, from what I'm seeing, like, Xbox fans are hype. They're excited. And of course, it is the launch of a new system. It's not 3 years in. I get it. But it just, like, to me, over the past couple of months, like, it looks like the amount of work that Sony and Microsoft have been able to do in the pandemic has greatly outpaced Nintendo's amount of work that they've been able to do.
So what I've been
and I
trying to
don't
think
get it.
of, what I've been trying to think of again is definitely disappointing, but I'm waiting till the end of 2020 to then look at 2020 as a whole to say, okay, did they actually drop the ball completely in 2020? And was it because of COVID, or was it because of some plan? Because I'm hoping, I guess, at this point that there is a plan, that they're holding back a lot of their bigger titles, the bigger announcements, because they're waiting to see what PlayStation and Xbox does with their announcements and prices and releases, so that they can combat it themselves and say, okay, yeah, now that you've told us what you're doing with Xbox, and you told us what you're doing with PlayStation, you told us the prices, here's what's going on with them for the holidays. Well, hold up, here's what we're doing for the holidays. This is where you should spend your money, and this is why.
So, do you think, depending on the price points of the new system, a price drop might be in the future of this holiday season?
There will be no price cut.
I think
They're
it'd be
selling
more
at $2.99 right
be
now
bundles.
as fast as they can get in the stores.
bundles and games as usual. It'll probably
It'll be bundles and games.
hopefully not the same Mario Kart bundle, but you never know because those still sold
With
out.
the OG Switch?
Yeah.
So,
But-
devil's advocate here, Tim, and I'm not going to tell you what I think until we talk about it a little bit, but devil's advocate here, is it that they're waiting to see what the other systems do, or is it we're overconfident because we've been in the driver's seat for a little bit?
I'm hoping if I'm not a marketing genius. I didn't go to marketing school, so I don't know how it's supposed to be done. But from my limited knowledge, I would think that you would want to wait to see what the other companies are doing, and then you drop the bomb on what you're doing.
Unless they have something with hardware related. If all they have is software, I don't see what they can do differently if PS4 is announced at $400 versus $600. Either way, it's a $60 piece of software, and it shouldn't matter. So if they are holding something back, what is it?
Either way, if it's a first-party Nintendo game, people are going to buy it. And it doesn't matter if it's $60 or like you said, it doesn't matter if the PS4 or PS5 releases a week before or a week after, it's 400, 600, 500. It doesn't matter. People are going to buy Nintendo first-party hardware.
Maybe
or
they're
software,
squatting in that Game Boy Classic.
especially if it's a Mario collection or it's Metroid Prime trilogy or something like that. People are going to go crazy for that stuff. I mean, let's look. I'm making a list right now as we talk about this. Here's what we know we're not getting this year from first-party Nintendo. We're not getting another Pokemon, right?
Right.
I mean, we're getting DLC, but we're not getting a new
Agreed.
Pokemon. Okay, we're not getting a new Smash.
Same thing. We're getting DLC, but no new game.
We're not getting Breath of the Wild 2 in 2020.
That would match my prediction.
We're not
back in
getting.
January.
We're not getting Metroid Prime 4.
I would agree with that too.
So, what's on the table? Mario remakes?
Pikmin 3 again.
Pikmin 3 remake, which has been rumored, which at this point, great. Put it out.
It's been rumored as much as Mother 3 has been.
The frustration with a lot of Nintendo fans, myself included, is that at least by this time, most years, we know of at least something that's coming, right? Like last year at this time, we knew Link's Awakening was coming in September. We knew Pokemon was coming in November or late 2020. Well, they hadn't even announced a release date at that point.
Blockfort still thinks that Breath of the Wild 2 might be the holiday weapon.
I'm leaning towards that too. So that's the only disagreement I had with what you were saying, Marty, is Breath of the Wild's not coming until 2021. Is that I don't totally disagree with that. It's a possibility that it could be till 2021.
You don't think we would have heard?
I think Breath of the Wild 2 has the possibility of also coming out this holiday.
You don't think we would have heard anything about it yet?
No.
Other than last year's E3?
The only reason why I don't think we heard anything about it is because, one, they want to make sure it's ready. If it's not ready, then yes, it'll be 2021. But if it is ready, because of COVID, everything's kind of screwy.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Right.
predict.
Yeah, because of the unknown delays and whatnot, potential delays. We don't know if it actually happened. But I think Nintendo for the next few games are going to do what they did with Paper Mario and not announce it until it's gold.
And that's okay. But
And
like here's I guess that's okay. I say it's okay. I guess it's
let
okay.
me
Here's-
point out one other thing too, is that in the past they also didn't release holiday stuff until a show they did in August, the Tokyo Game Show, I think it was. They used to do it that way. It wasn't E3, it was Tokyo Game Show time. Around that time is when they announced a lot of the holiday stuff. Used to be that.
I guess that like I just
It's just a weird year.
a lot of Nintendo fans have gotten spoiled by 2017, 2018 Nintendo. Like when the Switch was swinging
Oh
hard,
yeah, totally.
hitting hard.
Totally.
We were seeing announcements. The message, the branding was on point. And I guess I'm just a little disappointed that it feels like more of a regression than a holding pattern.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like a holding pattern. It feels like backwards motion.
And I agree
that's,
with all
that's
of
the
that,
problem
totally.
that's what really bothers me about it.
And I think that's what bothers a lot of us. I'm included in that. I'm bothered by it too. I'm disappointed. I want Nintendo with guns blazing right now, not letting up, foot on the neck, like bam, here's what we got coming out. And then the next month, here's
Right.
what else we got coming out. Here's what else we got coming out. Every month, something else is coming out. But something happened along the way. Either it was COVID or Nintendo was holding up to wait for what Sony and Microsoft was going to do, and COVID kind of put a delay on some of those things still. So without knowing all that stuff, it like we were saying, it's hard to predict. And that's why maybe I'm not as harsh, is because I'm thinking COVID has something to do with it. But that's also why I'm saying when we do our end of the year show and we talk about Nintendo 2020, if none of this stuff comes to pass, I'm definitely going to be highly disappointed, because at this point in July, I'm holding out hope. And then
It'll
when
be
we
like
get
our
to December-
2014 Wii U is the year recap. Kind of disappointing. Or 2015.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah,
I like what Third Strongest Mole said. It's not a delay if never announced.
Right, which is another reason why they're not announcing it until it's gold, because at that
That
point
sounds
it's finished. They can set whatever date they want.
that sounds like another Miyamoto-ism. A bad game is never fixed. A delayed game can be good.
And
Well,
there's
guys,
also one other
listen.
thing that we used to say too, right? And I say used to because we had one of our community members kind of like say, stop saying that. So it'd be interesting. But that's high hopes, low expectations. I'm still
Right.
waiting for an explanation on why he said, he's tired of hearing that. Like what? Because we don't use that for life.
Here's
We
why.
use it just for Nintendo.
Here's why we say it. Here's why we say it, because they put out crap like this presentation on Monday. High hopes, low expectations.
Yes, don't
Because
use
it's a
that
quote
saying
from
for
Zach,
life.
and
Yes, we don't use it for life
But,
things. We
you know,
use
we
it for
should've-
just for Nintendo.
We should have made that a T-shirt. Like I'm still thinking that's a T-shirt.
with Zach's face on it.
Yeah, high hopes, low expectations.
Not his
Shipping
avatar, his
hashtag.
real face.
Actually, on the front, what I think it should
Hashtag.
say is Nintendo Dad's 5 years of podcasts, and on the back it should say high hopes, low expectations. Somebody get on that.
Before we moved on from this, I did wanted to mention about the Shin Megami Tensei. I might look into them. I bought 4 and didn't like it. This was, I like Persona 3, 4, and 5. But, but 4 just, had more conversations with the demons and had a really high difficulty spike. I felt like I had to backtrack and grind, and I was only like 3 hours in. I'm like, no, it's too early for that. So I don't know how 3 fits in with that same pattern, and definitely no one knows what 5 looks like yet. So
I will
those
just say
are
that, like,
maybe on my radar.
looking at what they've been able to do with Shin Megami Tensei 5, if that was like in-game cinematic footage, Persona 5 should have no trouble running on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, definitely not. It's a PS. It runs. I can talk today. It was released on PS3 originally.
Fine.
It was designed. Yeah, it was designed for PS3. Delayed so many
Well, then
times.
definitely.
It had a dual release to 3 and 4. So
Well, okay. So Atlas, give me what I want. I want on the go PS5, Persona 5, PS5.
Though I'm not sure I'd want to. I would not sure I'd want P5 vanilla again. If I rebought it, I'd want the Royal version.
Well, there you go. Just release Royal on
Right.
Nintendo Switch. Anyway, continuing on with our train ride of information disaster here. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition will not have local multiplayer.
I can understand why. It's just
I
still
can't.
frustrating. Well, because it's cross-platform. It's not a Switch exclusive.
Yep.
So
And mobile platform.
Did you read what the developer said about this? He basically was like, they were like, yeah, it could, but we don't want it to.
Well,
that's
right.
That's
Well,
what it amounted it to.
again, if it was Switch exclusive, it would be something else because that would make more sense. But if they make it that way with the Switch, they'd have to make it that way with the PS4. And who's going to have 4 PS4s in the same house?
And I pointed this out before, is that in a conversation, I don't remember where, but
Okay.
I think when we talked about Final Fantasy Chronicles before, but online, because we were speculating online will have local, but with online, my family does that now with Animal Crossing. They have the option of doing local and online, and most of the time we're picking online, even though we're all in the living room. We pick online because it allows us to go throughout the whole house if need be. So local doesn't, because you have to be really close with switches for that.
That's my point, is have both. Don't just have online. Have both.
Troy,
because if you go back,
options.
the whole thing about Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is that the original version of this game was local multiplayer only.
Oh, I fully understand that. I'm not saying I like it, but I'm just saying I understand why they're doing it.
I just think it's a bad decision.
Because
and Ibicel, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Ibicel was saying no local, or I thought it was no couch co-op. And couch co-op has nothing to do with it. It's just...
Yeah, there's no local.
Still can do...
If you have 4 switches in the same house, you have to use online functionality, not local ad hoc networking.
Yes.
So can one copy play 4 people together?
Yes.
Yeah, you just have to download the
just like Clubhouse Games had the mini version that it can be as a game client. There will be a game client for this as well. So
no, I'm talking about like if I'm sitting at home and I buy this game, can 4 people play on the TV?
On the one game? No.
That's stupid.
Yes.
That's stupid and a money grab, and Square Enix, shame.
Well, you don't have to pay for those copies, but because they can download the free copies.
But you need 4. Still need 4 switches.
Right.
Well, no, because you can. If everybody's got phones, the people who can download it to
that's right,
iPads or phones or Android phones.
You can play it on the phone too.
Yeah, mobile. I forgot about the mobile. Again, because it is cross.
Still doesn't change our mind. I think that couch co-op not being there is terrible.
I agree. It should.
This game, I'm gonna say, this is DOA when it gets released.
But sorry to add one other thing. Let me mention this. In order to play the GameCube version, the 4 players with the capabilities that you had to have 4 Game Boys
and 4 link cables.
And 4 link cables.
Oh, that's right.
So
it's always been a crap show. This game is going to sell 5 copies.
And our family had when that game came out, my oldest had his SP, I had my SP, my wife had hers. We connected it, we bought the game, and we already had those things. All we had to do was buy the extra cables.
Here's the thing, it's a great concept, terrible execution. You know what this is? You know what this is? This is the veggie burger of video games. Great concept, terrible execution. This is like turkey bacon. Great concept. Great concept, Jesse. Turkey bacon. turkey bacon is not real bacon. It is strips of tires that they've put bacon flavor on.
See, you didn't
That's
have
all it
good
is.
ones then. You just didn't have good ones.
No,
then.
I've never. I've eaten a lot of bacon and a lot of turkey bacon. There's
All right.
there's no good turkey bacon.
We're gonna have to fix that because there's definitely good turkey.
I challenge you to send me some turkey bacon that's good. That'll become a new show. We'll do it. You really want? I will do the
Turkey
real
bacon
dinner table.
dads?
It'll be the bacon table.
Yes. You're gonna get flooded with boxes of turkey
Well,
bacon.
that's
now.
fine. That's fine. I'll eat it. There's a meat shortage. No. Anyway.
Mecca says you'll get tofu bacon.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's going straight to the garbage. If you send me that, there's not even frying it up. Jackbox Party Pack games are getting standalone releases. I love this. Fibbage from Party Pack 1, Fibbage XL, Quiplash from Party Pack 2. These are already available, $10.99 each. Jackbox swinging for the fences here. They're capitalizing on that pandemic money. Did I say $9.99?
You said $10.99.
Whatever, $10. Same thing. It's $1. These guys, why are they doing this?
I don't know.
This seems like a weird strategy here.
Yeah, they did it originally with Drawful because for a week it was up for free on just about every platform. Yeah,
it was 1 cent on. It was 1 cent on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, probably
free
because
everywhere else.
Probably because Switch doesn't let them do free,
right?
Unless it's always free. But yeah, so they're starting to release their more popular games piecemeal.
Yeah, and I think it's especially weird because this is like right before they're about to release Party Pack 7. Which looks really good, by the way.
What I've seen of 7, I may pass on this one unless
I think
unless their last game is great. But
I think it looks good. There's the one where you create something, like you create monsters or something, and they fight. That looks really good. I'm excited.
I don't like the creativity ones. I like the knowledge based ones.
We know what side of the brain you like. So
yes,
there you go.
That's
left,
why I do what I do for a career.
Okay. All right, Jesse, why don't you tell us, a few months ago, you backed the Intellivision Amico, which is a brand new system coming out hopefully soon, right?
They've been advertising October 10th since 2018, and so far they're still on track with that.
So what's going on with that?
Okay, so I got an email from them a few days ago saying that on August 4th, they're going to have a special Amico event. So I imagine like an announcement event like we've seen with Nintendo and Xbox this week. But it's weird in that I think it's kind of a private thing. It's not just going to be live on YouTube. They have a YouTube video that does the announcement and then has a link to register where you fill in a small survey. And then after you register, then they'll give you instructions on how to access the live event.
Nice.
At that time. So again, that's August 4th at noon Central or 1 p.m. Eastern. And one of the questions was, what's your, how do they word it? Like, what's your affiliation with Amico? It was, I'm a fan, I'm press, or something else. And I'm like, can I say both? Say a fan and press, but I chose press. And I don't know if everyone had the option or only because I chose press, I had the option to ask a question, which they may answer at the end of the presentation. So
I chose other and got that option as well.
You did? Okay. So I did ask a question. One, it's probably a not very important question, but one that he's shooting for a family-friendly system, and he wants to go on the cheap, to be the cheaper system to get. So he's looking for the every family. Of course, not every family has internet in the house. My question to him was, he said that you can use your mobile devices as controllers by downloading a free app. and the phone communicates with the system over Wi-Fi as opposed to Bluetooth. So I asked him, does the home need to have a pre-existing Wi-Fi network, or will the device act as a Wi-Fi hotspot ad hoc if needed? I think that's an important question for some people.
Well, I mean, if you're, like me, who
Right.
lives out in the middle of nowhere, I'm not buying the system, but I mean, I'm interested in that type of question. Like, are you going to force me to have to use this over my pitiful Wi-Fi connection, or are you going to Bluetooth it?
A lot of the things, Atari has been putting out information about their system lately, but I'm still waiting to hear about games that I can actually buy, download, and play. Everything so far has been based on services. They've announced 3 different services that'll be compatible with the thing that I don't care about. I don't want to subscribe to 3 different services to play legacy games. I want to be able to just buy it for $2 and play it, and that's it.
I'm still sticking with my prediction that the Atari VCS will never exist.
Well, that's. I'm having very low expectations with that one.
I also asked a question too, where my question was, will there be demo units available to try out somewhere like Best Buy or GameStop?
That's nice. We're going to have them on floor at E3 to demo, so that would have been my first hands-on if E3 happened. So.
Stupid virus keeping us from making YouTube videos and going out and
and then
playing Fortnite, finishing our Fortnite season.
Right, and then Tommy said those who and the video that Tommy put out is pretty funny. They're like stress testing the controllers, starting off with a simple drop test, and then they go bonkers, and sometimes they fail, like run over it with a lawnmower.
Jesse, look at what Mecha Dragon said when we'll get the Atari VCS. We'll be Nintendo granddads by the time it comes out.
Right. Anyway, so watch we'll find that video on the Intellivision website anyway because it's kind of funny. And if you register and then participate in the live stream, there'll be those who do all that will be registered to win a Founders Edition Amico at launch as well. So that's the model I already have pre-ordered.
Well, okay then. Maybe you'll get one.
I'm hoping to win one.
Maybe
Jesse's not going to win it. I'm going to win it.
What's that?
I love it.
You glitched out there.
I said, I'm gonna win.
Okay, well, Luigi.
Hey, guys. A little interesting tidbit here as we move out of our news. If you've ever wanted to work for Nintendo, we've got some stats for you. As of March 31st, 2020, the average number of employees is 2,395. Average age is 39.2. Average length of service is 13.9 years. And that salary, $9,350,972 yen per year. And, if you want it in dollars, that's $86,583 per year. That's a pretty good salary. I want to work for Nintendo now.
I've always wanted to work for Nintendo. Sign me up.
I can help.
Mole says, sounds like my uncle.
I can help not do direct minis like they did on Monday.
Right.
Anyway, guys, you know what August 1st is?
It's a date on a calendar.
It is a date on the calendar.
But it happens to be a Saturday.
It is a Saturday. Apparently, August 1st is going to be pretty significant for Nintendo. If you've been buzzing around the news lately, the new Lego Super Mario sets are released on August 1st, as well as the Lego Nintendo set, which is the TV and the actual NES set that is coming out. But this week, we also found out that Monopoly Super Mario Celebration Edition and Super Mario Jenga will also be out on August 1st. And X-Rocker...
That Jenga game looks weird. It's not like any other version I've ever seen before.
Weird. X-Rocker, who makes gaming seats and gaming chairs, will have Mario Edition chairs out on August 1st as well.
I've been
So-
actually wanting a new
that.
chair. I might have to look into that.
up. Yeah, I need to look at that.
I want to ask a question. What the crap is happening on August 1st? There's got to be something going on.
You know, yeah. Justin in his last night's recording kind of hinted in a tinfoil hat sort of way that something might be coming down.
July 31st. That's what I'm thinking. So this coming Friday? Yeah. This coming Friday. I'd expect to see something. I'm just saying,
Yes.
like we don't have any insider information. We're outsider information here at
these-
Nintendo Dads.
Those chairs actually don't look very comfortable.
Oh, you
The
looked
one
it up
that's on
already?
the
Yeah, I was just
stand
pulling it up.
does. There is one that's like a traditional like desk chair.
Yeah, but it's still the same chair, just on a foot when it has arms.
Yeah, my son had one of these, like a video game rocker thing. He really liked it. But I could not imagine me getting down on the floor and up out of that thing.
Yeah, no.
No,
Right.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, those
So-
aren't chairs for adults. Thank you.
No, those are coming out August 1st as well. You can get, I think there's Mario and Luigi and Princess Peach versions. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it could just be that Nintendo signed a bunch of, like marketing contracts and they all happen to coincide with August 1st. But
Yeah, so
it's also Mario's 35th year.
so Justin was suggesting that there might be some other announcement coming, as you said, and and I think 2 weeks ago I think I said that Nintendo should be announcing something before their next financial briefing, which normally would have been next week, but that's been pushed back a week into the beginning of August. So July 31st, August 1st is still before when that briefing will be.
But why on a Saturday? It's a weird time.
They did it in direct on Monday. Nothing makes sense anymore.
Well, they drop news at 11 o'clock at night on Twitter. Hey, here's Paper Mario.
It also says Bakugan 2, the sequel.
Oh my god. Guys, let's discuss some things.
Yeah, episode says it's not 11 o'clock at night in Japan.
That's true.
It's like 10 in the morning.
Yep. Let me throw this one out here before our other big discussion topic. I thought this was really interesting. Metacritic, which has long been, a site for reviews for video games, movies, all kinds of stuff,
And trolls.
from both trolls, critics and users, reviews, and has long
Users
been
starting
talked
with an
about-
L, right?
Not losers, users.
Oh, okay.
And
Depends
they're
on who it
also-
is.
Yeah, that's true. They've also long been talked about for the review bombing that goes on over there. When a new game comes out, a lot of people rush and give it a negative review and drive down all the star rating or number rating or whatever. They announced this week that they will now delay user reviews on games for 72 hours post-release. So 3 days post-release before a user can review a game. I wanted to ask you guys, do you think this is a good move or a bad move, and why?
I want to know what took them so long.
Well,
I think this is great. This is smart. They should have done this a long time ago.
I don't think it's going to do anything. It's just delays the inevitable.
It does delay it, but at least you get an idea of people who actually have the chance to review the game and add to the scores without the stupid people who've gone on and just wanted to bomb the site to make something look bad because they were mad at something.
I like it. I think it's great. I'm like Tim. Why did it take you so long?
Yeah.
Right? Like why?
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's just I don't think it's enough. But I don't know what they can do to make it better.
A week out.
It could be a year out. It was not going to do anything. It'll still just bomb a year later. So
Yeah. So, I mean, unless they create some sort of membership, I don't know if that's what they do now or not, but if you're a user, you create a membership and you gotta go through something when you create a membership before you can
Yeah,
put your score on there.
at least like reviews on marketplaces where you actually do the purchase, they can at least verify you've bought the item before allowing it. But Metacritic isn't a merchant, so they can't exactly do that.
True. But I don't know how you enter in user scores if you have to become a member of Metacritic's site and it's free membership or whatever. But
Yeah, I try not to spend too much time at the cesspool.
yeah.
I don't
so
I honestly don't
users-
know of anybody who really uses Metacritic as a serious tool.
I use it more for research for past things, but not future things.
The actual critic numbers, while it's, I don't think people, like publishers, should rely on that for like giving bonuses to the developers. That's ridiculous. But still, it is, looking at the critic score is a good measurement of how well a game is or isn't doing. Like a game that is averaging 6 to 8s, you should be able to see that it's like 65 or 72 or something like that. And that makes sense. But the user scores are completely meaningless. Just take them out.
They've become
They
where
serve no
it could
point.
have been. It could have been useful because just like if you were to go to Amazon and stuff, but to Jesse's point, Amazon has more control over it because they can say, yeah, this person bought it. But still, the idea
Like-
was to get actual feedback from people who played the game to get, it's kind of like us, people coming to us to say, hey, what do you think of the game? And getting our feedback on it because they either trust how we view a game or they have similar taste to us. So they come to us to look at that, or they go to IGN or,
And again,
whatever.
and that's the proper way journalism is supposed to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not be a troll hole on the internet.
Well, I
Or
think
go to our
that
communities and then just talk about it with each other. To
That-
say, hey, what did you think of that the game?
most of the time, like I said earlier, I don't go to Metacritic because I don't trust it. But I do trust, IGN. I do trust Kind of Funny. I do trust people in our Discord because there's a track record of games that they've played that I like, or I trust their opinions. I trust you guys' opinions on things. I think that Metacritic as an experiment is dead. I really don't see the need for it anymore. Like all those other, like if you want to aggregate critic scores, that's fine. Just shut the user portion down. Just
like
be
I said,
done with it.
I like using it for researching past things and not necessarily for things that are coming out in the future. I don't get it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think just take the user section down.
Otherwise,
it serves no purpose.
Otherwise, what you could do if you still wanted user interaction is users can comment and they can leave a written review of the game, but they cannot give it a score. That would make people have to actually dig and do their own research. The only scores would be critic website reviews.
Something that you qualify for.
But that way people still feel like they have a voice. And they could still go on Metacritic and say, I don't think this is a good game. But there's no thumbs up, thumbs down. There's no numbers. There's no smiley faces. There's no colors. It's just a text review. That's it. And if you don't want to write a text review, you can't review the game. Problem solved, Metacritic. I'll take the check. You can send it to. No. Anyway. I just thought that was interesting that's happening. Like that toxicity is being realized and they're trying to do something about it.
Yep.
Whereas before they've let it run rampant.
We'll see how it goes with the 72-hour.
Yeah. Probably still won't. I'm kind of on Jesse's side. I still don't think he'll do anything.
For 72 hours, it'll do something.
Maybe
No,
so.
it'll do nothing for 3 days, and then it'll do nothing.
Well,
it'll do something negative.
It gives the opportunity for the game to have the voice that it needs to from the, I guess, journalism critics or whatever, so that you can go research it. If you use it, you can go research what the culmination of all those things are in that one point without it being messed up by the users.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about this other thing. This was in our doc from last week, and we didn't, of course, didn't have to do a show last week. It's been there for a number of weeks. It's just carried over. I think this is an excellent discussion in light of news that came out today that Dragon Quest XI is going to be released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox, but it's going to immediately also be on Xbox Game Pass for free, basically. And this was a big deal for this game to come to Nintendo Switch. And now all of a sudden it's showing up in December for other systems and even free on other systems. But here's
and other games have happened like this too. And this is why this was brought up.
Right. And that's what I was going to get to. But listen to this. Third-party games for sale on Nintendo Switch are also appearing on sale free or with better features elsewhere, like PSN sales, Xbox Game Pass, or Google Stadia, streaming and joining the streamer features.
Yeah, and Apple Arcade. A lot of games launched with Apple Arcade that we didn't see until this spring.
Well, and games that were announced for Nintendo Switch indies like Inmost, which are still only on Apple Arcade. But I want to play on my Switch because I want to play. I don't like playing games on my iPad that take a controller. I don't. Anyway, it says, if your system of choice to play on is Nintendo, does this worry you? What kind of impact do you think this has on Nintendo and their decisions in the future? What kind of impact does this have on you as a Nintendo fan? It's interesting that this has been brought up because Tim earlier streamed part of Carrion, which is from Devolver Digital. It just came, or it is out right now for Nintendo Switch, right?
Yes.
It's been released. You can buy it on Nintendo Switch or play it on Xbox Game Pass for free.
Yep.
Another great example of this is Burnout Paradise Remastered came out on Nintendo Switch. It was $50 or $60. Yeah. It is available on, I think, PlayStation and Xbox for $10.
And the week it launched on Switch, Steam had it for $5.
Yeah, Steam had it for $5. Yeah. So, Tim, you're like, I think you're probably more cross-platform than any of us. What do you think about this? Like, how does it make you feel to see a game that maybe you just laid down $20 for on Nintendo Switch and it's on Game Pass for free?
Well, before he answers that, Third Strongest Mole says Game Pass isn't free though, right? Yeah, it's like $10 a month, but again, with the paid subscription, it's free. It's like,
and Ultimate is $15.
Yeah, it's like if you have an NSO or Nintendo Switch Online, you can play Tetris 99 for free
Right.
But if you don't, you can't. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you're paying for the Game Pass, but and then you get access to these games that you're paying for on a monthly basis. So, yes, I have the Nintendo Switch. I have a PlayStation. I have the Xbox Game Pass for the PC. We were talking about a little bit before. We were talking a little bit about this beforehand, and I think we even talked about a lot of this on the dinner table. But I brought this up because of that. I brought this up because of Stadia also coming up. One of the features they offer is, being able to stream and join a streamer feature, type of thing. And I thought that was interesting. But in some of the games they were showing in their in their presentation, I believe, or I think maybe one or two games are on Nintendo or will be coming to Nintendo. But mainly the biggest culprits are PSN going on sale. Same games that we get, they go on sale in PSN. Or it's coming for free to play, or part of your Game Pass, I should say. I think that's probably what Third Strongest Mole was trying to get at. It's not necessarily free. It's just part of what you get to play. You don't have to buy the game. You get to play the game in Game Pass. So for me, Carry-On, great example. It is available on the Xbox Game Pass for free for the PC as well. So I could sit here and play it on my PC. But the biggest thing is that the Nintendo Switch allows me to go up to bed and play some of these games when I'm laying down or whatever, or allows me to go sit on the throne, and play some games. it allows you more opportunities to play, especially when you're a busy person, right? And I'm not like my kids where they could sit down. Like my daughter right now, she's totally in the PS4 games, right? So because she has the opportunity to sit in her room and play, whereas for me, I can, well, now being with COVID, I'm here at work, at home working, but I can bring down my Switch down with me next to me while I'm working, and I can quickly pick it up and play it during my break or lunchtime. And then I can, when the day is ended, I can take the Switch upstairs with me and play it wherever. But more and more, as we're seeing, we're getting more and more of the like the xCloud features where we can do some of the things we can do on the Switch. We can have our main console on the TV, but be able to play it on our mobile device, which is going to be scary for Nintendo, I think, for those opportunities. Like one thing I'm starting to play with now, in fact, for anybody who's watching right now, I bought one of these things for my PlayStation controller where I can actually put my mobile phone on here and play via a remote play for the PS4 is what they call it. Play one of their games. Like I got Ghost of Tsushima and I'm playing that, and I was going to try that. I just got this add-on to the controller to be able to put my phone on it.
Yeah, I've used the remote play function before, like to play Persona 5 on my computer while my son was playing Wii U on the big TV.
So, and you mentioned that, right? It's remote play. You can play on the computer. You can play on mobile devices now. So you can just connect your PlayStation 4 controller with that. And so it becomes the fact of I can throw this in my backpack, the controller, and just have my phone that I always have on me, and then just break out the controller if I'm sitting somewhere and start playing, because I haven't tried it yet. But they're saying with the remote play, I should be able to connect to my PS4 at home through a mobile hotspot and play.
You can. I've got a friend who does that all the time.
You got to have some pretty good stuff.
You're gonna have some pretty gnarly latency, but it'll work.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
here's
the
the difference,
games. But
though, Tim. Like I think Nintendo has something to worry about with that in 3 or 4 years. And what I mean by that is like what Jesse just said. I think the technology it's not there yet. We've seen this with Stadia.
That's the thing you just said, 3 to 4 years, right? But when we were first talking about this, we said 10 years. We've already moved it up 3 to 4, and I think it's going to move a lot quicker.
The faster fiber and 5G can get into places, the more in trouble Nintendo will be. But for now, here's the deal. People like me can't do remote play. We can't do Games Pass. We can't do that kind of crap. So the Switch is king for me because I want it on the Switch, but and I think it's kind of crappy and it's kind of dirty for these other companies to say, oh, it's coming out on the Switch this week. Let's put it on sale on our store for $5. That is a Sony thing. That it is business. I get it, but it's dirty business, and it's all in the name of let's gank some sales. Right? Yep. Let's stop some sales from going over there. And to me, that is also the operations of a company that's scared.
Well, the biggest problem is because Switch rarely gets games day and date with other systems. If they did, we wouldn't have this problem.
Oh yeah.
And therein lies the issue too, why we're so frustrated with Nintendo not announcing a lot of the stuff that we want, right? A lot of us want this Nintendo Switch to be our primary system, our primary gaming system. But when we see all these other games and all these other companies announcing all this other stuff, and we're not getting something on the same level, that's when we get disappointed and frustrated with Nintendo, is we're not getting the same level of announcements.
I will say this. The question asked, does this worry you? To me, it bothers me more than it worries me, and I'll tell you why. I think that other companies treat indies like crap. I think that Sony treats indies like filler for their store. I think that Microsoft treats indies well if they're big time indies, like if it's Cuphead or if it's Ori, or I guess Ori's not even a real indie, is it? Faye and stuff like that. It comes from a certain developer. It comes from a certain thing. Nintendo treats indies well because in the Wii U era, for the last 2 years of the Wii U, indies were all they had. And that's where they developed the Nindy program, and they went all in on indies and developing indies and finding them and promoting them. And what the problem is, and what kind of makes me disappointed, and what kind of makes me upset, is that Nintendo had a golden opportunity with the Switch to really promote indies and do it well. And for the most part, they have not done a good job because the eShop is a mess.
Right.
And as long as the eShop stays the mess it is, Nindies won't do well.
Yeah. It's like
now,
Steam.
I know
Unless you know what you're looking for, you'll never find it.
Right. And the thing is that I know we hear these stories over and over and over again, like Blossom Tales and others that say, launching on the Switch saved my company. Launching on the Switch sold more than everything. But for every one of those that you hear, I had to put my game at 1 cent to get it seen. I have to do a 50% off cut on my games so that they'll show up. Nintendo told me they were going to feature this, and they didn't.
So I wanted to add to what you're saying there is, I think you're right. The eShop sucks when we're trying to look at games and stuff like that and search for things, and not a lot of these smaller titles can get to people like us or other bigger areas like other creators. Content creators to share their game content. But that's where I think too, where content creators can help, where if we get to play these games or get to talk about them, then we can say, hey, check out this game in the eShop. And then maybe Nintendo's not promoting it on their feature list, but at least these content creators as small as us or bigger than us can start sharing these games. I think that helps a lot without having the eShop that we all are looking for.
Yeah.
It also says for every Blossom Tail, there's a chicken wiggle.
Oh no! You just opened up a can of worms now. Thanks a lot, Abisel.
We're gonna do an after dark episode on Hatch Tales. It's gonna be called How. Never mind.
Did you see that? You saw that blow up in our Discord, right?
I've been gone for a month, and I promised myself that when I came back, I would try to be nicer, and I would try to not. Okay. I got to count down from 10. Y'all move on.
Don't worry, Gary will take care of it for us in the chat. It looks like he's in there.
I want a whole video podcast of Gary talking about Hatch Tales. Seriously, I want that. I need that. Inject it right into my veins. Guys, we want to hear from you. Does it worry you that these games are coming out on Xbox and PSN and they're getting discounts or Game Pass while we're over here paying $20, $30, $35, $40 for them? Let us know in the comments on the video. Let us know on YouTube, Twitter, email us.
I know for me, if it comes down to having to buy the game, like in the case of PSN versus eShop, I'll do it on the Switch, even if it's maybe a little bit more. But I am kind of, depending on what Xbox's pricing is going to be, I'm thinking about getting it one because Game Pass just looks it's almost too good to pass up.
Yeah,
you're gonna do like what John did with his Xbox, right?
22 games listed I mentioned today. I'm interested in maybe one of them, but there are other games more on the indie side that will have my interest. That might be worth just paying the $10 a month to get access to it versus waiting and paying $25 on the Switch.
Well, a lot of those games are coming to PC, and I've got the Game Pass.
I don't like playing
PC.
on PC anymore like I used to.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I was going to say, that's $5, and a lot of those games are coming to PC, and you don't need to buy an Xbox if you wanted to play.
Yeah, I'd rather sit on my couch versus this chair.
I'm sure you could figure out a way to get the game to play on
If
your TV
anybody on this podcast can figure out a way to get that game so you can play on the couch, it's Jesse Waldeck.
Exactly.
It is.
From your PC.
You, from your PC. Anyway, let's move on and take just a minute and talk about some upcoming events. So a couple of announcements we wanted to let you know about that are coming up within the next month. Nintendo has announced a new, I'm making air quotes here, Splatfest for Splatoon 2. It's going to be on the weekend of August 21st. It's chicken versus egg. They also announced during this time that there will be 2 more bonus Splatfests between now and March 2021. So basically what we're saying is confirmed Splatoon 3 comes out March 2021.
Or April.
Yep. So you heard it here first, Nintendo Dads. We're right. Also, for Nintendo Switch Online members, from July 29th through August 4th, you will have the opportunity to download and play Pokken Tournament DX for free on your Nintendo Switch. They've done this before with ARMS. I think they did a free weekend for Splatoon 2. And now Pokken Tournament. This is actually a really fun game if you love Pokemon. If you have kids, this is a fantastic fighting game to play with kids. It's simple to learn and hard to master. It's just really cool. Like, I don't know why it didn't take off more than it did. But you got to check it out. It's really good. And you have a whole 5 days there to play around with it. You could probably get your fill of it, even if you don't like it. Also, Pokemon Go Fest is this weekend. It is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time, Saturday and Sunday. And Jesse's going to be live streaming some of those events over on our YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out. If you haven't seen the 4 billion Pokemon Go commercials that they're showing on TV promoting this. It's like every time I turn on my TV. Grandma's ripping the backyard and revealing a Snorlax.
If only it worked that way.
You know what my favorite part of that commercial is? Is they're like, download Pokemon Go, mobile device not provided.
Right.
Mobile device sold separately. Like, really? Really?
That's the 21st century version of batteries not included, or some assembly required from when we were kids.
Mobile device not included. Download it, though. Oh, my gosh.
Download it into your brain, and the device will just manifest.
Yeah, sure. Right. Ugh, that's stupid. You know why they have to do that? It's because somebody tried to do it. They're like, I downloaded it. I didn't have a phone. I thought they were going to give me a phone. I'll sue you. Welcome to the world we live in. Let's talk about what we've been playing, shall we?
It also says you all have phones, right?
I thought you had to download it on a piece of paper and a pencil.
Well, that was a BlizzCon reference when they made the Diablo mobile event.
You all have phones, don't you?
Hold on, I got my phone right here. Hold on. Hello?
Stupid.
Hello?
Nice.
Stupid. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have anything to hold up for fun.
For those on the audio version, he picked up his GameCube.
Oh.
Hello. Hello, Satoru Iwata. Are you there? No, too soon. Tim, you've been playing a ton of games.
Please
according
understand.
To this list. Holy crap. What?
Not that many.
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
That's normal for Tim.
Tell us about what you've been playing. 2 minutes tops. Let's go.
All right. Well, what I haven't been playing is I haven't gotten back into the depths, but I do want to get back into that. I did maybe play a tiny bit, but I've been playing one game I can't talk too much about because it's still under a little bit of an embargo, which is Lost Wing. It is a shmup. And I forget what kind of angle it's on. It's not necessarily a top down or a side view. It's more, what do you call it? Isometric kind of, yeah. Or no way, it's behind. It starts off behind and then it goes isometric in some spots. But I'm hoping to be able to play that when it gets closer to me doing it, doing a stream of it.
So
I think it'd be fun.
It's not the same shmup that the Dads After Dark people are playing. That's a different game.
No. Go listen to the Dads After Dark for that one. About waifus or whatever. So, yeah.
And I'll let them know about that game.
Yeah.
So did I.
Animal Crossing, of course, because I've been really busy lately, and that's what my family likes to play, and we get together. Sammy loves getting on other people's islands. he does not take care of his own island. He likes to go to other people's islands and play on there. And, you know, we like to hang out together on the island. So when I get off of work and we're done eating dinner, we'll all jump on somebody's island, my island, his island, my wife's island. And occasionally, like I said, my teenage daughter will break away from her PS4 and come play with us too, but not very often anymore. She's moved on. She's into GTA right now. So
I'm sorry.
yes, I know. She's been talking about how she's been doing what's the thing? The big thing
Heists?
she plays heist. Yeah, thank you. GTA Online. She's done like a bunch of heists and stuff, and I'm like, great. My daughter's learning how to be, a gangster. That's awesome. So, but at least she gets straight A's, so that's good. So,
I wish I could say the same for my kids.
before the show, I did play a little bit of Carrion, the Devolver game, the reverse horror game, which I think is hilarious. I'll have to say that I'm liking it so far. Can't say I'm loving it. I only played about 15 minutes of it. First thing I noticed was the camera on it, because of the way it moves with the creature. If you go back and watch it, just you might get motion sickness, possibly the way it moves, even though it's a 2D game. But it's also giving me
Were you only planning on 15 minutes, or did you play 15 minutes for the same reason why I played only a half an hour yesterday?
No, it was only because we were getting ready to do the show, so I
Okay.
thought I had to drop off.
So a reverse horror game is where something creeps down a hallway and jumps out and makes people happy, right?
No. Reverse horror game meaning that you're controlling the monster and you're going after the people who captured you and did tests on you and all that. You're in this underground facility and you have to make your way through the facility, killing the people who captured you, the scientists, the engineers, and whatever, murdering them,
Sweet revenge.
eating them so that you can build your flesh up from eating them. And it's actually
because that's how biology works.
It gives me a Metroid. I'm just gonna say Metroid feel. I'm not gonna say Vania. It's just a Metroid feel so far, because you're going through some corridors.
It's a Castleroids feel, right?
Yes, there you go.
Feels like Castleroids. Big Castleroids feel.
Because you do have to go back to some areas, and I'm sure as you gain some abilities, which I haven't done yet because it was only 15 minutes, getting a feel for the controls. A few people stopped by and saw, but yeah, it was for the 15 minutes I played. I definitely want to jump in more and learn more about the game and what it could do. The control to grab things was also a little bit difficult too, because you have to use your right stick to move your tentacles to grab things. You aim your tentacles towards that, and then you grip with the R button, if I remember correctly, for the trigger. So it wasn't as tight as I would have liked it. And I was using I was actually using this PlayStation controller as my Pro Joy-Con or Pro controller, because I use the 8-bit do connection, the USB 8-bit do, to use it that way. So I don't know if it was because of that. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try it again in handheld mode and see how that goes, and then come back and do another stream of it. But yeah, probably talked a lot more than I needed to for just playing 15 minutes of it. But so far, that's been fun. Of course, like a lot of you guys, Paper Mario, the Origami King, even though I didn't think I was going to play it because I've been letting my son play it, I've been playing here and there. I only got up to where I found Luigi. So I'm definitely not as far as a lot of you guys, but I found Luigi in the basement of the castle that was ripped out of the ground, and that's where I left it. So I need to get back to that as well. And what's kind of been taking most of my time too, mostly on the weekends, not during the week, is the Nintendo Dad's game, Ghost of Tsushima. It's a PS4 game. I've been playing.
I want to know about this game.
Oh my gosh, the visuals on this game and this is, I have a second console, right? It's for these type of games that we don't get on the Nintendo console. So that's why I got this game. This is I'm going to spend time on PS4 type of thing. Type of game like Jedi Fallen Order was for me earlier in the year. That was I'm going to go sit down for, a long time on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday or whatever. I go to that and play that. And that game like I said, it's beautiful. It has some Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild feels to it because of the openness to it. I think they even said themselves that that was an inspiration for a lot of the things they built into it. I love Sucker Punch as a company who makes games because I'm a big fan of Infamous games that they've done, especially the first two, or I should say, the first two in the DLC that they had, the vampire one for Cole. But yeah, Sucker Punch makes awesome games, and I like how the game feels so far. I haven't gotten very far either in that one. I'm just starting to learn some of the mechanics of that as well, to learn how to become a ghost samurai, if you will. Just learn to move where you're actually abandoning some of your samurai values to become a ghost. So it's very interesting so far. Again, it's a beautiful game. I'm not disappointed at all so far. I would highly recommend that if you got a PS4. And a lot of people are saying this is PS4 swan song game, which I agree makes sense.
Maybe
and
now,
I did get a PSVR game too, because I did pick up PSVR a couple weeks ago.
is it Iron Man?
It is Iron Man. I picked up the bundle for that game.
Oh, I want this game so bad.
But I haven't played it yet, so I gotta sit there. I gotta get.
Oh, Tim, you gotta do it tomorrow. You gotta tell me how it is.
All right.
Now that Sucker Punch is done with Ghost of Tsushima, maybe they could get back to making Sly Cooper games.
Maybe.
I would love that.
Maybe.
That's one. It's my favorite PlayStation series.
I like my sushi with tuna.
Sushi. So you would like a Ghost of Tsushima tuna?
Ghost of sashimi.
Ghost of
And he likes
sashimi.
the really spicy ones, huh? Is that what that is? Because these ghost.
I have to be
peppers?
in the mood for wasabi.
Ghost of California roll.
Nah.
That's what I've been playing, guys.
Yeah, Jesse, what you been playing?
Okay, I have. None of these games are going to be very happy games, I don't think. I'll start with what I tried to play yesterday, and tried is the key word. Rain Swept. We got a review code for that. The game releases tomorrow. The embargo I think was Tuesday, so after that I could start doing anything. Start playing it or streaming it. It's you're a detective sent to a small town where there's a murder mystery which seems to be a murder suicide, and the local police department and then all the local citizens are like, "Yep, that happened. What are you doing here?" And you're like, "I'm not convinced." So the story to me just seems like really generic. That something's going on in this guy's past, because like in the middle of walking, he just collapses onto the floor. I'm like, okay, I don't know why that happened. I'm sure I'd figure out why if I kept on playing the game, but just the very first thing I try to do, when I see a menu is use the D-pad to manipulate the options, and it just left stick only. So I'm like, okay, I'm already not liking what they're doing with the user interface. So everything had to be used in the stick, even on 2D menus. And the guy's walking speed was really slow. He had a slow gait anyway, but was like he could have doubled his walking speed and it still would have been considered slow. So I just couldn't deal with having this guy walk. And of course, there's a scene where it's like almost like a fetch questy thing, not too big, but you talk to a mechanic, says, "Go get my wrench out of the box." It's locked, so you have to go back to the guy. I think my key's over there somewhere, the other direction. So this whole thing took 5 minutes because you walk so slow.
And
It was just driving me crazy. And so, yeah, I just couldn't play that anymore. I had to stop playing. And
so that was the 15-minute one, or I thought you played that one.
That was
30 minutes, wasn't it?
30 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's up there on YouTube if you want to watch that. Then everyone was glowing reviews of Crosscode. Justin liked the game, so I figured, okay, I'll give it a try. And I'm not getting it. I don't know if it's just because I've been so burned out on MMOs over the years. or what, but it throws so many subquests on you that doesn't tell you where you need to go, who you need to see, other than sometimes a portrait. But all the portraits are pixel art that are 64 by 32 pixels, so they all look the same. So I didn't do any of the subquests. When I did the tutorial, I was playing it on handheld because I was trying to do it like in bed or something, and it played like a twin stick shooter. You walk with the left stick, you aim with the right stick, and then it's a trigger to fire. But with the connected Joy-Con, it was awkward to do that combination for me. It was easier when I played it on the Pro Controller, but I was not comfortable playing it in handheld mode. And then even the melee, they teach you to use the right button, the R button. So I'm like, all right, I'm not a fan of games where that's the primary attack button. I later find out, and they tell you the shield is the L button. I found out by experimentation that there are face buttons that correspond to the melee attack and the shield. But if you're doing the range attacks, you have to use R. Or even trying to use the right stick and that button, it just can't be done because they're an inch away from each other. So you have to use R to be. So it was just, and I'm not sure if I'm under leveled. Tim, did you play this one at all?
No, not yet. I
All
did
right.
win it from our friends over at the Xbox Drive. I did win it for the
Okay.
Xbox.
Maybe I need to
I
ask.
didn't play it yet.
Ask Justin this question, but when you get near the end of the first day, the first game day, you have a duel with one of the other players in the game, and he's level 10. I'm level 5, so I got my butt handed to me, and losing the fight, win or lose, nothing. The game continues. So I'm like, was I supposed to grind to get a higher level to have a chance of beating this guy, or what? And then, so day 1 ended, so I went to sleep, and then respawned the next morning and met up with the NPC that I was partied with. Well, I guess he's to the game is an NPC. Everything's an NPC, but to the story, he's actually a player logged into the game. It's kind of confusing, but so you party up with him again, and he's now level 10 too. I'm like, now, am I under leveled? Should I have grinded? Do I need to grind now? And that's when I stopped.
That sounds confusing.
Yeah, because you don't like. I don't like the quest system. I don't like the combat. The story is interesting, but I need more than that to go. I'll come because this. Your character is kind of like an AI in the game, but you were a player, and something happened that you. So I'd like to know what happened, but I'm not wanting to put in the hours to figure out what.
Just ask Justin when he's done.
yeah, in 2 years, between all the Fortnite he plays.
Right.
Third, Mole says that he did some quests to get to level 9 and did beat him. He played it on PC and got about 5 hours in, where I was only maybe 2 hours in. And the last game I want to talk about is Paper Mario. I won't give anything spoilery, but so let's put it this way. I'm in the middle of the 4th area. I'm not a fan of the boss fights up to this point, the first 3 areas, but other than that, I really enjoyed the game. Justin asked, what would you rate the game on 1 to 10? And I said, depending on when you asked me, I would be giving you a different answer. So if say the first 3 worlds, I would probably give it an 8. It has issues. It takes a while to get used to the ring puzzle system to line things up. and there are items that you can get along the way that'll help with that. And then World 4 started, and when I realized what it was doing, it was amazing. I say it was 9 or 10. And then you get a little bit more in, and then you really realize what it's doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't as fun anymore. And then, I might, in a few weeks, I might explain more details. But again, I don't want to do any spoilers yet because the game's less than a week
I haven't
old.
gotten there yet. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
So there's the game's doing something, and then, oh, yeah, the game's really doing something. And then I got to the mid-boss of that world, and I literally rage quit. And I haven't touched the game since Tuesday night. I haven't gone back to it. So it went from damn near a 10 to rage quit within an hour. That takes skill.
Sharp drop.
Wow.
Only Nintendo can do that.
Mecca's asking if I like Bug Fables. I liked it, but again, it kind of got me bogged down with I can do multiple things at the same time, and I don't remember which direction I needed to go, so I only got about halfway through the game.
I won't play Bug Fables just based on the principle that I hate bugs. Like I don't. Bugs are gross.
But
I hate bugs.
I like the story of Origami King. I like what it's trying to do. I'm okay with it not having experience points and levels. There are ways to enhance your character, and I think that's sufficient. So anyone who's just saying, "Oh, it's because it doesn't have a leveling system, I don't want to play it," that's not a good reason to not play it.
Yeah,
Boss level
I
is sucking.
completely agree with
That's
that.
a good reason to why you may not want to play it. But I know Marty and I talked a bit pregame, and he said where I'm at is probably the hardest fight in the game. So if I can get past that, then everything should be better.
I thought that that where he's at is the hardest boss fight in the game, simply because of the mechanic of it. But there's a cheat that you can do that is built into the Switch system. Hint, hint, it's a screenshot. So take advantage of that.
See, I didn't even get that
screenshot.
I didn't even get that far.
Anyway,
where that would be helpful, because basically, I need. There's a level of board management I need to do in order to be able to progress, and I don't know what I need to do to manage the board. So my board is literally unplayable. So hopefully, the next 1 or 2 times I'm in there, I can learn more about what I need to do to clear that board.
Very good. Very good. So I'm going to kind of backpack on what Jesse's been saying here. I got Paper Mario last Friday and rolled credits on it today, this afternoon, about 4:30. Of course, I've been in quarantine where I've pretty much just played Paper Mario for the last week. I mean, probably put in at least 3 to 4 hours a day.
I was going to ask, what do you think your hours into it was?
I was hoping when I quit the game after rolling credits that it would show me, but it just says first played 6 days ago.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you until day 10.
Yeah, I think that they need to change that. But anyway, anyway.
I think I might have 10 to 15 hours in up to this point.
I think I probably topped out at 2025. And that's with me not actively, like, pursuing 100%, but not getting 100%. Does that make sense? Like, there's parts of it that I just didn't finish. So
where I'm at with that, I think I've 100%ed every level I can. There are some levels, so some zones that I don't think I can 100% until I've unlocked other things later, or saved a specific toad to unlock something. But so there's 2 zones in red that aren't 100%. Everything else in red is 100%. Everything in blue, everything in yellow is 100%. I think of all the purple zones I've unlocked so far, I think I've 100% everything except for maybe 1. Oh, okay. Again, not spoiling, but yeah, the main area I'm still missing, I think, 2 treasures.
Okay. So I'll be real honest with you. Like Jesse said, there was probably dang near 10. Like I feel the same way. And this is from somebody who hates Paper Mario Sticker Star with every fiber of my being. I did not finish Mario and Luigi Paper Jam because it was god awful too. I did finish the one about dreams, which was what was that one?
Dream Team?
No, it was. Was it Dream Team?
I think it was.
Was that the one? That was one on 3DS, right? Mario
Yeah.
and Luigi Dream Team. Yeah, I finished that one. I liked it. It's just way too long. And I really did not like Color Splash.
Yeah. Well, the
Like,
problem
I
with the
liked
Mario
it
and
up to a
Luigi
point.
games is you have to unlock all the areas, and then they've come up with some arbitrary excuse to have to go through them
Yes.
all again.
Yeah, and artificial length. It's terrible. So like I was loving this game, and there's so many details. The humor in this game is on point. The visuals are fantastic. I love the contrast between the flat paper and the origami. The story's good. It like really, there's not really any reason to not like this game. But there are some things I think that they needed to change, and I would have loved to have seen them do differently. Number one, by now, anybody who's played it knows that the battle system is the ring battle system. You have to line up the enemies. You have to attack them. If you don't line them up, you still get to attack. You just don't get an attack bonus. But you want that attack bonus. They make battles go faster. And the thing is there's really, besides coins, there's not even really a reason to battle anything. But it's fun. It can be fun. The thing is that those battles are timed. Like you have a set amount of time, about 45, 50 seconds to get the rings lined up.
Yeah, only the ring manipulation is timed. Once you're in the
Yes.
actual choose your move, you can spend as much time as you want.
Yes. So here's my thing. Boss fights introduce so many new mechanics and give you so many different choices. I feel like those should have been untimed.
I agree.
Because the pressure's already on for you to do a certain thing at certain points. And sometimes between that and the timer ticking down and everything else, I would find myself making a wrong move. And so that ended up being a little bit sour, especially on that fight that Jesse's talking about. That fight was killer. And it is for me the hardest boss fight in the game.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. And from there, it's really all downhill. Like it's still challenging. I'm not going to say it just turns into a kiddie game, but from there I enjoyed the boss fights. Because there is a mechanic. You see it in the trailer, so I'm not ruining anything here. The 1,000-fold arms, which Mario's arms turn into origami. You actually don't just use that on the map. You use that in battles. You don't use it in regular battles. You use it in boss battles to like really put a whippet on the enemies, and that's so much fun when you get to do that. But what people don't understand is to get to that, you have to go through a process where you have to find the button to turn those spots on. And that usually takes a turn and,
yeah, if you get a lucky layout, you can hit the on button and land on the switch at the same time. But usually in the boss fights I've done so far, usually it takes 2 turns to do that. You have to spend 1 turn to set it up and then the second turn to activate it.
Yeah.
Because at least when you turn the switch on, they don't shut off again. They stay on.
Yeah. So like if you turn it on in the first turn and you just get to attack the enemy or you mess up and he attacks you, the next turn it'll be on until you use it. Unless that enemy has some kind of power that wipes those spaces off the board, which beginning from the second mini boss, I guess you could call them that. They're called velumentals. They're like elemental enemies.
Yeah,
I
called it the mid boss when I talked about it.
They kind of are. Starting with the second velumental, they have something that will wipe spaces off the board. But anyway, like I would being in, I left the game satisfied. The ending was great. The final boss fight was a lot of fun. The whole end section was good. Like after where Jesse is, like when the purple streamer, it's the fourth out of five. That excuse me, there's a section there where it just kind of really bogs down because of something you're having to do. And I did not enjoy that section. But out of 25 hours, if 2 hours of that was not enjoyable, I still call that a pretty good game, because I'm not going to enjoy everything about every game. But
That's
I just
fair.
thought it was great. I thought the visuals, like the different areas that you visit, are so varied and beautiful, and the music too is just, it's on point, from the battle music to the boss music. All of it is so good. And I know that there's people out there, and I'm talking to you, like, if you're not giving this a chance because it's not Thousand Year Door HD, or it's not Thousand Year Door Part 2, please rethink that. Watch some YouTube videos of people that you love and you trust playing this game, streaming this game. Like, I know a good friend of the show, Phoenix Moore, he was like, I want to love this game, but I just can't because of the battle system. I can't get past it. I was out as soon as I saw it. And I respect that. I get that. Like, maybe he doesn't want to fool with that. I get it. But I just thought, all in all, to come out of nowhere like this has in 2020, it's been a delightful package. It's great.
Roger's been playing it. I kind of peeked on him during his stream yesterday, and he was where I was on Tuesday.
Yeah. So that's just, like, I think it's brilliant, and I've loved it more than any Paper Mario game I've loved in a long time. So I highly recommend it, and that's me being done with the game. Like, I'm done with it. I kind of wish that I had it on a cart. I bought it as a download. I kind of wish I had it on a cart, because now my son wants to play it, and I want to pass it on to him. And he's about halfway through it. And I wish I could just do that, but now it's on my Switch, and I've got to let him play it. So, but now it's cool because I'm done, and I can kind of like help him through the whole thing.
He'll probably need some assistance with some of the boss fights, at least to get.
Yeah, I've had to help him, like, line up a few things.
Yeah,
but I would love it too if, like, there had been something, even if they weren't gonna, like, if they said, okay, yeah, we're gonna time boss fights, if there was a way to slow down time. Like maybe like bullet time.
You can still throw money out at the ad time.
You can, but I don't like doing that.
Neither do I.
So, yeah. What were you going to say? There was something else?
I don't remember now.
The only other games I've been playing this week is Clubhouse games. I play Clubhouse games to relax in the evenings. Usually Solitaire, Klondike Solitaire, and Mahjong. I love those. And now my daughter is wanting her own copy of it for her Switch Lite. So I guess I'm going to be buying another copy of Clubhouse games, because she loves Pig's Tail and Takoyaki and other things like that. So,
Speaking of Clubhouse games, something I thought of, it's kind of a side note here, because we're talking about Animal Crossing and Clubhouse games, those two games. One of the things I mentioned to my family is I wish what they would have done is, when you're playing Animal Crossing, this came up today too, there's times when we're playing together and we'll come across either, they got the chessboard out on the table, or there's the Mahjong arcade game, right? Or even darts. There's a dart board, or any of the other games you can buy and purchase and put up in your Animal Crossing game. I thought it would be really cool is that if the system was smart enough, if you were in your Switch and you're playing Animal Crossing, you had somebody visiting and you guys walked up to a chessboard together, that if you both hit at the same time, or one of you guys hit at the same time, it would boot up your Clubhouse games, and you could then play chess together.
That'd be cool.
Or any of the other games like that.
It would actually give use to those objects you can buy in place and not do anything with.
Exactly. I thought that would be really cool. Give you something to do in Animal Crossing. Like I said, my family likes to get together and we just kind of do random things and make up games, which is still fun.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think back to, like, was it the GameCube where you could get NES games?
Yeah.
Yes. And then I think even New Leaf had an island you could go to play games on, I think, too.
I think that, like, I would love that kind of functionality again, but I think with the Switch, it kind of shoots Nintendo Switch Online in the foot if you're giving NES games away in Animal Crossing and stuff like that. But I get your point. Like, I wish you could play the board
you
game
could still
that's on
you
the
still
table.
have that. You would still have to buy those games, but if you have that game, it would boot that up for you. Like, if you had somebody come visit, it would boot up the game you already own, or it would boot up a game that was similar. Like if you in Animal Crossing owned an NES game that was online, you went to go play it, it would then boot you up. It would ask, do you want to boot up the actual game or something like that? And then you just boot it up and play it with somebody in the Animal Crossing game. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting.
I don't know if the games have the ability to terminate themselves and execute another app. That's the thing. I don't think I've seen anyone do that yet. I've seen it done in other systems.
Right? Yes. Like it has to be a multitasking thing, right? Where one's in the back and like you can do that with some things. Like I can be doing Animal Crossing and then go to the photos, or like you were saying, use Origami King and use your album to look at something. But those are the smaller apps. So.
Oh, and speaking of Animal Crossing, I wanted to add that I think I've tapped out. I have not launched that game in probably 2 weeks. So.
Oh, Animal Crossing?
Unless another update brings me back, I think I'm done.
Well, we're getting another update in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
we'll probably see some news about that this week.
Yeah, so I still put probably an extra 2 or 3 weeks into this game more than I did in New Leaf. So I got my money's worth, I'd say. So I'm not upset I bought it, but I don't like game swapping. I like to play a game and really focus on the one game.
I have not booted up Animal Crossing since I got Paper Mario. So now that I'm done, maybe probably going back to that. So, well, guys, that's what we've been playing. We don't have any community spotlight this week, so we're just going to round out the show with some news. All right. Hang on just a second.
Community news.
Community
stuff like contests.
Like
contests.
Our
T-shirt winner.
Sorry,
contest.
I was getting an important text from my wife, and but anyway, yeah. So a few months ago, we started a T-shirt contest in our Discord, and we asked you guys to send in your T-shirt designs. And if you guys remember, about 2 years ago, a fan of the show, Mike Patterson, patron of the show, he sent in the amazing Voltendo Dads art that you can currently get over to Redbubble and buy. You can do that over at nintendodads.org. There's a link there to go buy it. And what we did was we wanted to get a new design because we do this about once a year. And what we did was we promoted this contest. You send in your design, and the grand prize winner would receive a new shirt, stickers, pin, and coffee mug with your design on it, and a Nintendo Dads voucher for a game of your choice or a $50 eShop card. The runner-up would get a $35 eShop card. So we had the contest, and then the coronavirus hit. And it kind of got put on the back burner for a while. But we are excited to announce that as of today, we have a brand new T-shirt design in the store for you. You can head over to nintendodads.org and look at. Tim, is that already up?
Not yet.
Not yet, but it will be.
I had a busy week.
That's okay. It'll be up in the next couple of days. I'm
Yes.
sorry, misinformation. The next couple of days, this brand new, I'll just go ahead and tease what it's called. And this is going to reveal the winner to the person listening. But Super Smash Dads is the new T-shirt, and that is up in the store. Probably, maybe by the time you hear this, maybe over the weekend.
Wait. I thought it was the eggplant emoji that won. I thought it was.
Oh
that.
yeah, that's right. Just says Nintendo Dads with the eggplant emoji. I'm sorry. No, just kidding. Super Smash Dads won, and the grand prize winner is Dan Blockfort Caparello. Dan, we want to thank you for your amazing contribution. I will be buying one of these shirts. I love this design. But also runner-up is Sean, not the Connery Sean Abbott's. And he wins a $35 eShop card. Winners have already been notified. So you guys will get, we'll get with you, and or we've already gotten with you by this point, and we will take care of you and your eShop card. Also, we do a monthly drawing for a $25 eShop card for our patrons. And the winner of this card for the month of June 2020, we draw it and then we give it away the next month, is Vincent Fusco. Vincent Fusco. And so if you will contact us via our Patreon page, we will get you your $25 eShop card as soon as possible. All right. So Dan, Sean, thanks so much for doing the shirts. Vincent, thanks for being a fan of the show. And that is about us for this episode 289.
We do have a question
from
Mega
the
Dragon.
community.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
There was one that was sent a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey.
You talking about the Blancs? Or
Yes. Yeah, John Blanco, what are some under the radar Switch games you think people need to check out? Tim says
Shinsekai Into the Depths. It's one I've always talked about almost every time I'm on the show. I haven't played it this time around, but it is every time I do play it, it is. I want to finish it so I can say this is going to be on my Game of the Year list for 2020. That's how good I think it is so far. I keep saying so far because I haven't beat it yet. I want to give it its due diligence. Maybe there's something that ends up towards the end that makes me hate it. Who knows? But right now, so far, I think that one's under the radar. I don't hear much about it from anybody. I know that there's a couple people I think playing it in the community, but other than that, I don't think really anybody's maybe not interested or whatever. But I mentioned that it is kind of like a Metroidvania or a Castleroids type game again. I like those kind of games, so that's why I probably say that I like a lot of Castleroid games. But this one, to me, it's more so Metroid Prime-ish, where you do a lot of, how you do a lot of scanning in Metroid Prime and stuff, to where you get a lot of information in that way to learn about the creatures you're attacking or being attacked by. You can do a lot of that in this game, but it has, it's side scrolling, so it's not necessarily first person like 3D like Prime was. But it's pretty laid back for the most part because you're underwater, you're discovering a lot of things underwater, ancient civilizations, or it seems like this is post-apocalyptic type game too. So you're discovering things about the past that's looks like our time now, but in the future underwater. And you're running into a lot of these big monsters and stuff like that. And that's when that's where the action starts happening. It's a lot of these things come popping out when you least expect it. So a lot of times I'll take this game to bed and I'll be playing it there, just kind of exploring. And then all of a sudden there's these monsters attacking you. And then, so it's like, I'm more awake now at that time rather than relaxed. But I think this is definitely a gem on the Switch that I think a lot of people should check out.
Cool. Jesse, do you have one?
I don't, because at least I don't remember much of what I played, past a few months ago. And this year, there really hasn't been anything stand out to me yet. And normally, in general, games I like are games that most people won't, and vice versa. So I don't think I'm a good one to ask this question on.
I will mention two from the same developer, one of which is a very recent release and one of which is a couple, maybe a year ago release. And that is Flint Hook, which is a 2D dungeon crawler roguelike that features kind of non-roguelike elements where you're able to complete levels and not go back to them, and also buy upgrades that you can use permanently. And it reminded me a lot of like Castlevania and Mega Man together with some Metroid. It's just really cool. It's got a lot of charm, a lot of style. I feel like it just kind of hit at a time, and it got a lot of press then, but I don't hear a lot of people talk about it now. And from that same developer, there's a brand new game that just came out called Panzer Paladin. That is the love child of Mega Man, Blaster Master, and Shovel Knight. And it's just ridiculously good. Like, it's $20 on the eShop. Don't even wait to go download it right now. It's amazing. It's so good. You're in a giant mech. You're a girl in a giant mech, fighting the unleashed forces of hell to send them home to hell. They're being summoned by these ancient weapons.
Family-friendly entertainment.
And it's very anime-esque in the cutscenes, but it plays like a dream. The music is fantastic. The visuals are great. It's a girl in a giant mech, and it even features those sequences where you have to get out and play as her and do different things. But the thing is that the mech also like has limited weapons. It has a punch in the beginning of the game. You have to pick up weapons off enemies, and you can break those weapons down for new effects, like to heal yourself or to shoot a bolt of lightning or to get defense up or deflect for your shield. It's just amazing.
Okay,
I've heard some things about that one, and I've seen you mention it too, that it's been amazing. So
I might look into that one. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
Cool. So Jesse,
if you like, I'm just gonna say this: if you like Shovel Knight, this is right up your alley.
And Jesse, I wasn't gonna say no Picross games or anything like that, be under the radar or anything like that.
Oh, Picross is Picross. You either like it or you don't. If you don't know, try one. They're cheap.
No, what's the other one you like? The genie one.
Shantae?
Yeah, what about that?
I wouldn't say that that's a hidden gem. You know, it was kind of in your face. That's basically WayForward's mascot now.
Yeah.
And was prominently featured in Apple Arcade. So
I tell you who WayForward's mascot isn't. Bakugan.
Right.
So
I still say
just saying.
Patricia Wagon for Smash.
I kind of agree with you on Shantae there, but Jesse, there's a game that you and I have played that I think could make your hidden gem, and that's Pixel Lines.
Oh, yeah. Again,
I love just the chillness of Pixel Lines, and there's Pixel Lines DX, and there's Pixel Lines 500 more. I've had that game for 3 years, and I'm still working through the puzzle parts of the first one, and haven't even touched the second one. And I have both.
Yeah, I never finished it either. Some of those levels were huge, like 128 by 128. I think they took me like an hour and a half to do one. But again, that's kind of like Picross. It's, you either like it or don't, and it is a little bit a different way of thinking.
Jesse's real hidden gem is the waifu game we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I have not yet played
actually,
that one.
Jesse's real hidden gem is the Magical Girl bike game that came out the first week that the Switch was. You remember that?
I vaguely remember that now that you mentioned it.
I don't remember this. That's probably a good reason.
Called.
You blacked it out.
Oh gosh, I can't
look it
remember.
up?
It was download only.
While Mari's looking that up, I have to say, Jesse, I like your shirt. It's pretty sweet.
Thank you.
I like that. I got this Metroid one. Actually, just got it today.
Well, while he's looking that up, are we other than?
Oh, it's called Vroom in the Night Sky.
Yeah, I don't remember that game
Your
at all.
description is what
March
reminded me about
Here, let me just read this from Wikipedia, just for fun, because it's midnight and I do it. The player is can't even read it. The player is a magical girl who rides on a flying scooter and collects items called Stardusts while shooting missiles at giant circles in order to open a portal. The player can also earn Stardusts for doing cool moves, which can be spent on new bikes. Metacritic score 17 out of 100. Destructoid gave it 1 out of 10. Nintendo Life gave it 3 out of 10 stars. Nintendo World Report 2 out of 10. Destructoid, Jed Whitaker of Destructoid called it a steaming pile of crap.
Yeah, no, I did not play this one. I did not purchase it. I just looked it up, and it does not say purchased.
Glenn Fox of Pocket Gamer said it is better to go outside and read a book than to even attempt to play the game.
There have been some Magic Girl anime games I have purchased. I couldn't tell you which one they were, and I didn't really like them and didn't get far into it. But yeah, that one I did not try. All right, I do have a question from Mecha Dragon sent last week that kind of Justin kind of
Okay.
hinted at it, and I completely forgot about it until now. Hello, Nintendo Dads. It's Mecha Dragon again. I hope y'all ain't tired of seeing my questions by now. But anyway, I wanted to bring up a point that someone on my Twitter brought up in regards to Paper Mario, since the game will be out by the time this podcast goes live. My friend told me on Twitter about how he thinks some fans are raving and playing Bug Fables to spite or show an example to Nintendo about how a proper Paper Mario game should be, and saying how much better already than Origami King, and how thinking it's a bit disrespectful to the devs of either Origami King or Bug Fables. Tweets and questions, since it wasn't long ago, don't have to be read in quotes. Okay, I see what he means. So one example is, see, that's what bothers me about this. Bug Fables is a tribute to the older Paper Mario games, yes, but it should also stand on its own and not just be played in spite of the current Paper Mario games. And yeah, I've seen a lot of that, which isn't fair to the developers. Same stuff happens with that Temtem MMO from last year. People only playing it to spite the current Pokemon games. It's similar to when Temtem came out and how everyone raved about that game, saying that is way better than Sword and Shield, because everyone was just upset at the game at that point. Do you dads think that's actually something that some fandoms do, and whether or not that's really that toxic of a thing to do within a community? I mentioned that my friend, when Bug Fables was announced for consoles, at the time Paper Mario wasn't announced, but he claims that stuff has been going on for a while. Thanks for reading a long email, and we'll see you later. So I kind of agree. Bug Fables was originally announced and before we knew Paper Mario was a thing. And I think both games like that can stand, as long as can stand on their own independently. Even though one is a montage of a previous game, one's existence doesn't change the fact if the other one's better or not. And playing Temtem because you don't like Sword and Shield, that's little. That's kind of...
Yeah, I was going to say, it probably depends on the community, right? Or that you're involved with.
I don't think one company will care whether or not you play the other game, because they'll never know. So yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't think, I guess it just depends. If you're in a community that calls that out specifically, oh, I'm playing Bug Fables because of my, I'm trying to send a message to Nintendo, then you're going to see that more so than somebody who's just playing it because it is homage to Paper Mario, the older ones, or even, RPG, Mario. So... like some people have said that they want to play it because of that. They took a lot of references to that, so they're going to play it, and then that way you get the scratches that itch if you wanted to have that going back to the original Paper Mario, but you still could check out the new Paper Mario and get to check out these new mechanics that they give.
Yeah, I think that playing a game just to spite a developer is a really dumb reason to play a game. I'm sorry.
Because that developer is never going to know that you didn't play their game.
Yeah,
you played something else.
Yeah, the people who made the original Paper Mario are not watching to see if you're playing Bug Fables. Sorry. And by the way, Bug Fables is gross because it's about bugs. Bugs are terrible. Stop playing it. Stop buying games. That's why I didn't like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight was about bugs. Why can't it just be about knights? I want to fight bugs down in the ground. I stay in my house to stay away from bugs. That's just what I do.
You like your
Anyway.
you like your nights solid, not hollow?
If it was solid night and there were no bugs, it would be better. Just saying.
All right. So someone in the chat earlier in the show asked me if I liked Origami King or Bug Fables better. I've only played, about halfway into each game. They both have their high points, both have their low points so far. I like them both. If I would say if I were to pick one from what I've seen so far, I'd probably say Origami King. But it's also, I prefer more linear storytelling than, that Origami King has versus the storytelling in Bug Fables that right now it's more, it's not, I wouldn't say open-ended, but it's like, kind of like Metroid, going back to that example, you're able to backtrack to, 5 screens the other way anytime you want, even if you have no reason to do so. You can do that in Origami King too, but it's more the lines between point A and point B is more linear, as opposed to in Bug Fables there are a lot more options to go, and you almost have to draw the map in order to know what you're doing.
Gotcha. Well, guys, that is episode 289 of Nintendo Dads. I want to thank you for listening along or watching along with us tonight. And as we close out, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Chris Mears, Dave Ernsberger, Sean Abbott, and Antonio Contronio. We also want to say a huge thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you for all you guys do. And if you want to be a Patreon supporter, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads to join in. It's just $1 a month to get started. There are other tiers available. You can check all of those out there as well. We have a website at nintendodads.org where you can go for all of our videos, tweets, podcast episodes, Patreon links, social media links, and our merch, where soon you'll be able to get the brand new Super Smash Dads shirt of your very own, or coffee mug, or sticker, or duvet cover, or hey, did they make masks? Do they make Nintendo Dads masks?
Yes.
Do it.
Our new logo. Our new logo is on a mask.
Our new logo's on there. You can get a brand new logo tee as well. And you can find us in most places that you're social. We're social. We're already there. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail. That's 929-25-NDADS, 929-256-3237. We want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And we want to remind you, download and play your favorite podcast, this podcast on your favorite podcast app of choice. And be sure to leave us a written 5-star review so more people can find the show and join in with all the good stuff going on over here at Nintendo Dads. For me, for Jesse, for Tim, and all the rest of the dads who couldn't be on tonight, we thank you for listening. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet